We welcome you to Championship Saturday from Moon Township, Pennsylvania. We're inside the UPMC Event Center on the campus of Robert Morris University. It is a 4-6 matchup in the final. Cal State LA, the Golden Eagles, making their first ever appearance in the national title match, while West Texas A&M tries to defend their title, making their 6th appearance all time in the national championship. The path to get here for the 6th seed Golden Eagles, an upset win against Wayne State in the quarterfinals. They did that in 5 sets. In the semifinals, they cruised against UMSL in 3 sets. Meanwhile, for West Texas A&M, 3-set win against Clarion, and then an absolute thriller in the semis, a 5-set comeback win against top seed Tampa. Honored to be with you alongside the national champion head coach from 1997, Debbie Hendricks. Adam Young on hand from the UPMC Event Center. Debbie, you've been here before. What are the feelings like for these two programs?
The nerves are real. They really are, and maybe more so for Cal State LA. This is their first time, but both of these teams are so ready to get this show on the road. They're glad they're playing at 5.
We have 2 of the best individual performances from the course of the week on display here tonight. We're going to start with Tori Miller for West Texas A&M. She's been on this stage before, Debbie, 5th-year senior. She's approaching 2,000 career kills.
Tori's long been the heart and soul of this team, and last night was one of her grittiest efforts ever. She struggled a little bit in serve receive, but more than made up with her offensive and defensive effort.
Meanwhile, for Cal State LA, Emily Elliott, the junior out of Costa Mesa, California, has put on a show in the previous 2 matches.
You know, you just can't help but focus on her offensive numbers, but yesterday her serving was just as impressive. She took 18 attempts, was error-free, and caused all kinds of chaos for the Missouri-St. Louis serve receive.
The Lady Buffs are looking for their 2nd straight national championship. This is their 6th appearance in the national championship match. Their head coach is an alum, Kendra Potts, former 3-time All-American setter. She has her Lady Buffs at 33-3. They have won 23 of their previous 24. And if you go back to a year ago, they are 59-3 in their previous 62 matches. Meanwhile, for the Golden Eagles, they entered the national tournament unranked. They are a 6th seed. Juan Figueroa has done a marvelous job. They have won 10 of their previous 11. They are 21-4 ever since starting the season, Debbie, 2-6.
It's been a season of turning around and I think building to be peaking at this moment. I think he's done a great job with this team.
Now the Golden Eagles only needed 3 sets to get by UMSL yesterday. Meanwhile, West Texas A&M, what a match we had last night in the nightcap. They needed 5 sets. They needed 36 points in set 4 to get by top seed Tampa. There's a big difference in what these 2 programs had to go through on Friday.
Now let me tell you, West Texas A&M played 236 points to the 134 that Cal State LA played. That's a 102-point difference, which is nearly another 3-set match.
If you're West Texas A&M, how do you handle from last night's thriller, which went deep into the evening, into this one today? What was the recovery like for the Lady Buffs?
I talked to Kendra Potts before the match, and she said, you know, we did the same things. We had food ordered to the hotel. They ice bathed, which I think is great for recovery. She let them sleep in a little, but then they got into their normal routine, and that's what I think you have to do. That match was probably as mentally draining as it was physically, so I think keeping them in structure is really a good move.
A lot of these Lady Buffs players, of course, played on the national championship team a year ago. Meanwhile, for the Golden Eagles from Cal State LA, their program has never been in this position. Would you give this slight edge and experience to West Texas A&M going into this title match?
Inexperience, yes. However, I do believe Cal State LA has really been peaking right through to this match. If they play as clean and as efficient as they have in the other 2, this is going to be a real battle.
Juan Figueroa's squad did everything well on Friday. They hit 364 as a team. They also had 14 blocks. They served it well. Right now they are playing with a lot of confidence. They're as hot as anybody right now. Every single head coach around the tournament this week has said that. And Juan Figueroa said last night in his post-match press conference, we just keep getting better and better, which is scary for all the teams around the tournament this week.
You get the sense when he talks about it, he has hit that point where he's just getting out of the way and letting the players drive the bus, because they're doing all the right things. Yesterday's match was nearly flawless, and I know they played that way in the regional championship last week. So, I think you just let them go and let them play.
When West Texas A&M gets to the national title match, they are highly successful. This is their 6th appearance. They are 4-1 all time in the national championship. They have 4 titles, 1 runner-up finish, trying to go back-to-back for the 2nd time in program history. They went back-to-back in 1990 and 1991. They won it in 97. They won it in 2022. They were runner-up in 09. So they are looking for their 5th national title, which would be 2nd most all-time at Division II. Yane Henke will start us on serve for 6th seed Cal State LA, and we are underway in the national championship. Great to have you with us from Moon Township, Pennsylvania. An early kill for Carly Evitz, the honorable mention All-American.
That's a bright spot right there. Cal State LA starts in that rotation simply to have Henke serve first. Getting out on the first serve is really positive for the Buffs.
Evitz from Canyon, Texas, where West Texas A&M is located. And we understand there are 4 or 5 watch parties going on tonight in Canyon. A tip kill for Emily Elliott. Pretty good balance on Friday for Cal State LA. 3 players in double figures in kills. So Elliott had some help yesterday.
It was a much more balanced effort than what we saw in the quarterfinal.
Miller pushes down the far line, a little bit too deep. Attack error for Miller, who had 70 attacks in last night's 5-set win. She enters tonight approaching 2,000 career kills in what will be her final collegiate match. Off speed from Cammie Jones. Backside to Elliott. Shot away by Patterson. 2 kills out of the gate for the junior out of Costa Mesa.
I thought it was really interesting that her first swing of the match was a tip. But you knew that wouldn't last long.
An unreal performance in the quarterfinals. Almost as good in the semis in just 3 sets. That's Contreras on serve receive. Tough angle for Miller. 2 attack errors here early on in set 1 for Tori Miller.
The Lady Buffs struggled in serve receive for about 2.5 sets last night. Talked to Kendra before the match. She said that's the longest period they kind of went away in serve receive. This is a tough serving Cal State LA team. They're going to have to manage that pressure.
An ace for Sanders. Her 35th of the year. Early timeout for Kendra Potts. This Golden Eagles squad just continues to play with so much confidence.
Well, they look high energy. They look composed. They don't look like they have nerves at all. I think that's what happens when you win in 3 the day before. And the Lady Buffs look a little sluggish. And I don't think there's any surprise with that. They're a gritty group of young ladies. They will find their way into this match. But, this first set could be a little sloppy as a result of what they went through last night.
Both programs looking for their 3rd win in 3 days. This is a 4-6 matchup here in the final. The West Region champs, the Golden Eagles, against the South Central Region champs, the Lady Buffs. Serving was good yesterday for the Golden Eagles. 7+ aces now in 4 straight matches coming in. And they absolutely dominated UMSL, the 2 seed in the semis. Both of these 2 teams defeated a 1-loss team on Friday. UMSL only had 1 loss before their loss yesterday. Tampa also only had 1 loss before losing to West Texas A&M on Friday. Do not let that 10-loss number fool you for Juan Figueroa's squad. They are not playing like a 23-10 squad right now. Sanders out of Menifee, California. Sends it to Contreras. An overpass. Tipped over by Roundtree and in. The middle blocker, Haley Roundtree out of Pleasanton, California. This time it's Patterson out of system again. Miller, she'll attack into the block. Elliott and Roundtree on the block combo.
All kinds of trouble right now in serve receive. If you're not passing well for West Texas A&M, they're going to get double block up, and you know they're looking at Miller right away.
Another serve for Sanders. Contreras, good pass this time to Moreland. Backside for Jones, denied by Dittman. So right now it's serving and blocking for the 6th seed Golden Eagles.
Well, and that's what tough serving does. It creates great blocking opportunities.
Sanders in the nets. Ron Figueroa says that's okay to his squad. Absolutely loves this start early on in set 1 as 2 new subs come in for the 4 seed Lady Buffs. Malice comes in, Becker in as well. Malice will serve. She was outstanding from the service line down the stretch in that set 4 36-34 win last night. Dittman never got it over the net. 4 touches on the Golden Eagles.
She was looking at a big double block. I do think the Lady Buffs are probably going to let the middles go a little bit if the pass is even remotely off the net and double up on one of the 2 outside hitters.
Right back to Dittman around the 2 blockers. Dug out and controlled by Contreras. First attack for Becker. Played by Henke. Henke will have to free ball it to Stowe. Miller. Controlled by Henke. Dump play for Cannon. Read by Contreras. Backside for Becker.
Becker was another one that was really huge in the 4th and 5th set in last night's match. And they need her probably energy right now to get things going.
And here go the Lady Buffs again, winning on Malice serves, and she serves that 1 inches too long. But you can live with service errors like those, right?
You can. I think especially for Cal State LA, too, I think they have to serve aggressively. This Lady Buff team runs a 6-2 offense. They've got 3 strong attackers across the net all night long. They want some of that taken away. So I think they're going to be high risk, high reward serving.
Great handle by Patterson and the kill for Miller. A lot of zip on that serve by Elliott. One of the most aggressive servers in the tournament, and Patterson controlled it well.
You know that they're going to go to Miller a lot tonight, and so does Cal State LA. So it really is going to be important that other players for the Lady Buffs step up and balance out that offense.
Saved by Elliott. Sanders has to get it over. She does to Contreras. In system for Stowe, denied by Roundtree. Bryn Wright, her first swing. Dittman slaps it across to Contreras. Becker from the right antenna again. Controlled by Henke. Dittman buries it. First kill for the transfer from UC Riverside.
She did a nice job yesterday of just muscling through the block. She'll also do a great job using the block, tooling, going high hands. Very creative attacker.
23 kills for Dittman in the previous 2 matches in this tournament. Only 3 combined attack errors. Averaging 2.5 kills per set for the year. Playing in her final collegiate match, and that's an ace for Brooke Page, the sophomore out of Vegas.
I really feel like the Golden Eagles have come out here with a similar mind frame that Tampa did. They're just pulling all the stops out at the service line. And if they make errors, they make errors, but they want this Lady Buff team out of system.
Wide right for Page, so an ace and then an error. 2 early aces and 2 errors for the service line for the Golden Eagles.
You know, the other way you get West Texas out of system, and Tampa was good at this last night, you put the ball on those back row setters. They're immediately eliminating options when you do that.
The setter is Cannon. Henke off speed to Malice, the setter. Bump set from Contreras, cross court for Becker. 2 kills for the sophomore, giving her 601 in her career. Only a sophomore.
That's a great spot, just splitting the backline defense.
Contreras serves it to Dittman. Back row swing for Elliott. Handled by Miller. Stumbling towards it was Wright. Dug by Henke. Henke out of the middle, out of the reach of Contreras.
She didn't have the time to transition outside. The block saw it. She just got inside of them, and that's just a heavy ball.
Henke was on the national stage a year ago, part of that run to the semis for the Golden Eagles. Fell just short of the national title match a year ago. Getting here for the first time ever this year, though. Out of system, Becker. Too long, attack air. 6-point advantage for the Golden Eagles. Zahal Cheaton sends it to Miller. Overhand handle for her. Out of the middle is Evitz. Not the prettiest of swings, but it works for her second kill.
A little bit of a break there. I like the concept of setting the middle even when you're pulled 10 foot off the line. But this was a little bit of a problem for the Buffs last night. They've got to push that ball well inside the 10-foot line, have all the options in good situations.
5 attack airs, 5 kills so far in set 1 for West Texas A&M. Henke from the left side. Too long, no touch. 2 straight for the Lady Buffs. Blair Moreland, the server. Junior out of Katy, Texas. 6-foot setter. One of 2 setters that head coach Kendra Potts will use. Back row Elliott. Down the far line and in. She has done that so often this week.
Well, that right there, you know, when you run a 5-1, you only have 2 options attacking-wise on the front row. But that's not the situation here for Cal State LA. They've got Emily Elliott swinging from the back row. It's just as tough a ball to defend as it is if she was on the front row. 3
kills on 4 swings for Elliott. Slide play for Evitz. Her 3rd kill in set 1.
Again, good job by the Buffs attacking the corners. Both of these teams are basically in perimeter defense, so the deep corners are open.
Evitz from Canyon, where West Texas A&M is located. The 3rd different school. Coming back home, playing her final match collegiately. Right on cue, it's Evitz again in the overpass.
West Texas A&M creating some opportunities for themselves now with tough serving.
Emma Patterson, one of the better servers for the Lady Buffs. Sends a good one again. Good pass, though, by Cheaton. Henke off the bump set. What a pass by Cheaton to start the kill for Henke. Henke, a sophomore out of Germany. Last year's AVCA West Region Freshman of the Year. Shanked away by Miller, an ace for Henke. One of the best around the country, top 10 nationally in aces this year.
And last night, the Spartans went after Tori Miller relentlessly for about a set and a half. I'm sure that Cal State LA watched that.
Miller off the bump set. That is 3 attack airs on Tori Miller on 7 attacks. Remember, she had 70 swings late last night, a match that went over 3 hours. Jones gets it to Cheaton. Backside for Elliott, rolls it off the tape, being her first attack air. Maybe the first time in a while she's trying to do too much there, Debbie.
You know, I tell you, sometimes I almost like her better on the back row than the front row, and I've never said that about an outside hitter in my life.
Cannon sets up Dittman. An overpass for West Texas A&M. Cannon back to Elliott, and she's denied. Miller and Stowe. Stowe, one of the best blockers around the country.
And this has been the problem for the previous 2 teams that have played against Elliott. They just haven't been able to get block stops on her. That's one. They're going to need a couple more before they get her thinking a little bit.
Jones from the right antenna. Out of bounds, and West Texas A&M draws within 3. Juan Figueroa probably thinking about a timeout here. Hasn't used one yet. Elliott's the answer. Just when you think she might be fading off a little bit, she answers with a kill.
Oh, yeah. And I think they are getting her a little bit of line out there, so they're forcing her to hit the cross-body shot, but that's such an extreme angle. There's really no way to defend that.
That snaps a 3-0 run for West Texas A&M. Sanders was serving it very well early on. Serves it to Miller. Serve receive struggles again early on for the Lady Buffs. In the middle for Stowe. Net violation. And it's on Roundtree of Cal State LA.
It's a normal tactic to go after an outside hitter who's front row in particular because you're overloading them. They've got to pass before they do the next job in that swing. And last night, Tori Miller felt the pressure of that. So there's no surprise right now that that is how they're serving.
West Texas A&M only hitting .083 in set one. Dittman denied. Stowe and Becker near antenna. And there's that timeout for Juan Figueroa.
Kendra Potts talks about the fact that, sometimes her team is not in an offensive rhythm, and they really look to their defense to get them going and then work their way into the offensive rhythm. And she talks a lot about learning as they go. You can watch all the video you want, but you won't really know how to defend an attacker until you see them live. So they've already begun to pick up on a few things. They've gotten a couple block stops here, and I think that's really positive for their defense.
West Texas A&M looking for their 34th win of the season. And in case you missed it on Friday night, they're coming off a 5-set thrilling comeback win against top seed Tampa. Tampa led 2-1, and in the fourth, West Texas A&M trailed 18-10. Then they trailed 24-20. They fought off 10 match points in the fourth. They trailed 14-12 in the fifth. They fought off 2 more match points in the fifth. They end up winning the match in absolute thrilling fashion. Chris Katnack, the head coach of Tampa, who's been doing this for 40 years, said last night in the post-match press conference, in 40 years, I've never experienced something like that. Remarkable comeback.
It was, and it just tells you how gritty this West Texas A&M team is. They actually sometimes play better from behind. I don't know if they can afford to put themselves in those kinds of holes tonight because Cal State LA is so efficient right now.
Great serve by Malice, overpass kill for Stowe. And guess what? It's Malice again from the service line doing damage for West Texas A&M. She was the best server for the Lady Buffs down the stretch in that comeback win Friday. Elliott's wide left.
That was a tough out. It was a very out-of-system ball that she had to swing at, but that's an error we have not seen from her during the tournament.
That is her third attack error. Only 8 in 2 matches coming in. Dittman the push, one-handed tumbling dig for Patterson. Henke from the back row. Patterson slides to this one. Dittman off the block, dug out by Malice. Contreras the bump set. Block for Cal State LA and a kill for Roundtree. What a rally.
Heads up play by Roundtree, just knowing that as long as I can keep this ball in play, poking it deep in the court, back part of the court would be successful.
And now the Golden Eagles get Elliott to the service line where she does so much damage. An ace in the right corner.
18 attempts last night, no errors. Ripping serves just like that. I mean, it's a high risk, high reward type of serve. I didn't go back and look at the stats, but I can't imagine she had another match like that all season long where she served this aggressively with no errors.
Debbie, it's so interesting how efficient she has been for the service line here this week because you look to her entire year and she has a team high 81 service errors. It's a high number, high risk, high reward like you've talked about, but it doesn't seem like she's taken anything off it this week, but she's been way more efficient this week.
I think she's an incredible competitor. I really do, and I think that she sees that this is the time. You know, maybe it's a mental, like, really being focused every time she steps back there to serve, but she's turned on some switch in the last couple of weeks that, you know, is special. It really is, the ability to be executing at this high a level in all phases of her game. And we haven't even talked about her defense, but she's a good blocker. She's a good back row defender. I think she had a set assist last night. You know, so there's a switch that's gone off that she's so focused, and it's cleaning up her game.
Elliott, first-team All-American, was a second-teamer a year ago. That last ace giving her 13 now in her previous 4 matches. Team best 67 for the year. Big moment here for the Lady Buffs on serve receive against Elliott. Becker, cross court. Roundtree had to play it. Henke will free ball it. Patterson comes up. Miller. West Texas A&M back within 1. They get Elliott off the service line.
I love that Emma Patterson stepped in and took that ball. They've been allowing the setters to take too many first balls, and then they can't run the offense, so that was very aggressive there.
Sanders passes for Cannon. Dittman off the arm of Stowe. Becker again for the right side. Punched up in the air by Henke. Out of system, back row tip for Elliott, and that drops in.
And right there, that was the opposite. You know, I think someone could have stepped in and taken that ball so Ainsley Malice didn't have to take it, and then she could have run the offense. They didn't get nearly the same kind of swing with her playing the first ball.
Overpass kill for Henke. That was right on the doorstep. It was Malice in front for West Texas A&M. Henke has some inches on her and used it. Page serves a good one again. Outside for Wright. Kept up by Page. Swing for Henke right into the block. Covered up by Elliott. Back to Henke. Lunging pass for Miller. And a misfire on the set by Malice. Not on the same page as Stowe. 4 touches on the Lady Buffs. Miller passes for Malice, outside for Wright. Saved by Page. Roundtree with the free ball. Contreras, Malice, Becker, cross court and in.
Wow, that's a big swing. She loves that hard cross court ball. Got a perfect set here and just brought so much pace to this. That's not a diggable ball.
Now we'll see if the Lady Buffs have some late set magic left in them again. They trailed 24-20 in set 4 against Tampa last night with their season on the line. Becker out of system, off speed, and she drops it in.
You know, I wondered if the Lady Buffs were going to go after Jamison Sanders a little bit. She only had 4 digs in the entire match last night. So, you know, it's at least worth testing to see, you know, does she make that play right there? That was a little bit of a miss hit, but it's still, I think, where they were trying to go.
Well, I think Juan Figueroa saw what happened last night, so he's going to call a timeout right here and make sure that West Texas A&M doesn't get in that groove they were in set 4 last night.
No lead too great. No lead big enough against the Lady Buffs. You know, the difference, I think, between, at least I felt like coming into this match, between last night, Tampa and Cal State LA, Tampa made a lot of unforced errors, and unfortunately they were at really bad times. What we've seen to this point is that Cal State LA has been very, very clean, very efficient. So I think, you know, if the Lady Buffs are planning to dig themselves out of some of those holes, I think they're going to have to do it with their play and not with any free points, especially at critical times. First ever appearance in the national championship for Cal State LA.
Their fans have traveled well. Lady Buffs fans, per usual, traveling well. Good atmosphere here inside the UPMC Event Center. Final match of the week, match number 7. We will crown a national champion tonight. Will it be the Lady Buffs for a second straight year or the first ever for the Golden Eagles? Henke tips it over 2 blockers, passed by Malice, tipped by Evans. Elliott from the back row, Contreras digs. Right the bump set, Becker rolls it to Dittman. Rolled by Elliott, Contreras all over it. Becker twirls the block. Is that a slide play there, Debbie?
It was, and it's because she came in to cover the tip. So she's such a good athlete. She can go off 1 foot like that, and that's the best escape. You know, she can really come way in to cover the tip and then run out of it with that slide.
Sophomore Becker's been the best Lady Buff here in this set. Service there, and now we'll have set point for Cal State LA. And it's going to be Zahal Cheatin in the service line for the Golden Eagles. Sophomore from Istanbul, Turkey. Miller the pass. Malice backside, right back to Becker.
She's just using the block right to left. She likes that swing anyway.
It was 23-19 Golden Eagles. Now it is 24-23. And a point here for the Lady Buffs would send us to extra points here in set 1. Moreland sends it to a backpedaling Sanders. Henke cross courts. The Golden Eagles take set 1. Fourth kill for Yane Henke in set 1. A handful for Elliott. Cal State LA only hit 162, but they did enough in set 1, looking for their first ever national title. We'll go to set 2 for Moon Township when you come back.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Golden Eagles win set 1 in their first ever appearance in the national championship match. But for West Texas A&M, this is not their first trip. In fact, this is their second trip in a row to the national championship match. Last year they played Concordia St. Paul in Seattle. There's Tori Miller. She's been on this stage before. The final point as West Texas A&M won their 4th national championship, and now this year they're trying to go back-to-back. So many of these players were on this stage a year ago, Debbie.
The majority of the team is back. So they do have that experience of being on this stage. I don't sense that they're rattled right now. They know what they're pursuing, and it's that moment right there. I don't care how empty the tank is right now. That feeling right there is so special. They'll find a way to climb back in this match and pursue that again.
You saw then freshman Tatum Stowe on the block assist on that final point to defeat Concordia St. Paul. Last year, the Lady Buffs also defeated Wingate in the quarterfinals. They did that in 5 sets, beats Humsel in 4 sets in the semis, and then Concordia St. Paul in the finals. They won their final 26 matches a year ago. If they win tonight, it would give them wins in 24 of their final 25. So Kendra Potts continues to have this program playing at their absolute best the final month and a half.
Both of these teams. And that's what makes this kind of special. I think they're bringing their A games tonight.
Lady Buffs 59-3 in their previous 62 matches going back to last year. Contreras saves it beyond the back line. Miller will have to free ball it to Dittman. Henke cuts it in. She finished off set 1, and she begins set 2 with her 5th kill. Only 1 attack error for the Germany native.
What's really interesting about that last set, West Texas A&M had 3 more kills than the Golden Eagles, and their hitting percentage was 231 to 162. Still lost the set.
Miller cuts it in. The slow start for Miller in set 1. She had 4 attack errors. That is her 3rd kill on her 12th swing.
When we look at those numbers, the separation was at the service line. Golden Eagles had 4 aces, and I think that was the difference in the set.
Elliott's starting to heat up again after some early attack errors. She had 3 of them in set 1, and now she's up to a half dozen kills.
She had a couple of errors early in the match yesterday, and I think everybody went, uh-oh, is this not her night? And then she established that it was going to be another good night for her.
It's been her week. It's been her month if you go back to the regionals when she played so well. Had 22 kills in the regional final. Miller down the near line and in.
What a nice swing, coming in angle and hitting that crossbody shot. They gave her just enough line. And she thread it.
Miller 70 swings last night. Elliott had 110 swings coming in the first 2 matches. Heavy workload for those 2 star players. Dittman out of system off the block, kept up by Contreras. Miller rolls it to Henke. Dittman attacks again. Diving dig for Contreras. She is so good at that libero position. Roundtree with the overhand handle. Elliott cross court and in.
She can hit the most extreme angles.
Her 56th kill of the week here in Pennsylvania. And now she aces. Too hot to handle for Contreras. A pair of aces in the match for Elliott. Pinballs around, and somehow Contreras gets it across. Down her both knees, Malice to dig. Becker to Henke. He'll try Elliott again, punched over by Patterson. Henke has to play it back line. Elliott wide left with this one. Some really good defense for West Texas A&M.
Yeah, and that's a big break for the Lady Buffs because there are a couple of these servers that they really need to get them off the service line as quick as possible. They didn't as early as they would have liked to with Elliott, but that's a nice break.
Elliott with the bump set. Dittman rolls it to Malice. Pin-to-pin bump set by Becker. Wright with the attack. Malice and overdig. Right to Henke. Roundtree out of the middle.
This is a brilliant tactic by Cal State LA. That's the 9th or 10th dig now for Ainsley Malice. So she can't run the offense. So when they don't have anything else to do with it, they're putting it on Malice and waiting for their opportunity to kill the ball.
The Golden Eagles continue to show they are way more than just Emily Elliott. A lot of players have really stepped up the previous 2 days. Page has served it well, and she aces for a second time. 23 now this year for the sophomore out of Vegas.
I feel like the Golden Eagles have served tough in this tournament, but I think they've taken it up to another level in this match.
A half dozen aces already after 7+ in 4 straight matches. And twice now, Page has aced and then aired on the next one.
I mean, you're looking for a little bit more than that in that philosophy. You'd like to get a couple of points before the air, but they're accomplishing the task of really creating some chaos for the Lady Buffs serve receive.
Pass by Dittman. Elliott back row, off the chest of Contreras. One-handed dig for Malice. She's been marvelous defensively tonight. Henke drops it in. Well, the center, Ainsley Malice, doing all she can defensively, but these attackers, especially in this set for the Golden Eagles, just too much. Hitting percentage going up for Cal State LA, 267 in set 2. Bump set for Elliott. Henke, tough angle. Right the overpass. Back to Henke. Punched up by Malice. Passed by Dittman. Elliott in her sweet spot. Back row right side. Wright gets the touch. Her first kill.
Great swing by Wright. I tell you what, they're just never in system, West Texas A&M, because Malice is their primary defender right now. Not ideal, but what a great out here. Clean ball by Becker, then a nice swing by Bryn Wright. That's good. She had a rough night last night. I'm sure that feels good to her, help her get into a rhythm.
And Debbie, there haven't been many times when Elliott hasn't terminated from the back row right line. That's been her sweet spot all week. Henke a side out for Cal State LA. Eliza Cannon, senior center, 6 feet tall from Santa Ana, California. Serves it to Wright. Slide play for Evans. Kept up by the Golden Eagles. Henke again. Jumping dig by Contreras. Backside for Elliott. Diving dig Contreras. And now she has to free ball it. Does so to the front row. Cannon sets up Elliott. Contreras played it up. Miller can't get to it. The 8th kill for Emily Elliott.
The Lady Buffs are completely out of system, completely, out of sorts. And so much of it, again, it's the serving, and then it's going back to putting the ball on the setters. They're out of system just about every rally.
Well, Elliott has 8 kills, but Henke has 7 on 21 swings. Not only does she have 7 kills, she also has 10 digs so far, Debbie. Yeah,
she's a great defender, and they're just creating great opportunities for themselves offensively because of what they're doing and the way they're taking their first and second attacks. If they don't have anything to do with it, they can't terminate it, put it on the setter, wait for your next time. They've been patient, and then they're creating great opportunities through that.
Last night we saw Natalie Perez for Tampa, only a sophomore from Honduras. Henke, similar international player, only a sophomore, was on the national stage in the semis a year ago, played pretty well, has played better this year, and will just continue to grow and grow. She's going to be one of the better players around the country the next couple of years.
Yeah, you better believe it, and she's just gotten better through this tournament, too. The first day, we didn't say her name a lot. It didn't seem like she was involved as much. Yesterday, much more so, and today she's off to a fantastic start.
Cal State LA looking for their third straight upset here in the national tournament. Beat 3-seed Wayne State Thursday in 5. Beat 2-seed UMSL in straight sets Friday. And they're up 1-0 on 4-seed and defending national champ, the preseason #1 team in the country, West Texas A&M. And once again, the Golden Eagles enter the national tournament unranked. And violation on West Texas A&M.
They got Moreland in the net when she was setting. I thought they were calling it on Ebbets, but then he showed the 14, so Moreland on the set.
Golden Eagles ahead by a handful. Serve receive breaking down again for the Lady Buffs. Elliott from the right side. The block was late to get there. And now if you're West Texas A&M, you're thinking about Henke on the outside, so you're forgetting about Elliott a little bit.
Well, they have multiple weapons. There's no question. I think all the attention goes to Elliott, but the reality of it is they had 4 weapons yesterday that were big producers offensively.
Point goes to West Texas A&M. Assuming maybe it went outside the antenna?
That was what was called. Lady Buffs have to find a way to start putting a little more pressure on these Golden Eagles.
Henke the push. Contreras sets up Miller. Dug out by Jones. Miller tools the block. Well, West Texas A&M would love for her to heat up again. What a decision by Cheatham to watch that one fly by, maybe 2 inches too deep.
Probably an easier decision when you're up by this much than it is, if it's late in the set, tight.
Henke dangerous from the service line. On the way it comes. Gathered up by Contreras. Front set by Moreland, setting up Miller.
Great job by Contreras, getting her body behind that ball. It's moving so much that you don't want to reach on that, and that's what the offense can look like in system.
Evet's a really good server. Played by Cheatham. Excellent pass. Dittman blocked away, but Cal State LA able to free ball it to Evetts. Miller rolls it right to Cannon, the setter. Cheatham with the bump set. Off the block goes Dittman. To the middle for Stowe. Solo denial by Grubbs. Backside for Elliott. How did she get that one in?
Cal State LA is doing such a great job of extending rallies, being patient, waiting for the right swing. That's good offense.
Elliott back in double figures, her 10th kill, 273 hitting clip, at 366 in the semis. Elliott will use the block this time. She has a toolbox, so many shots she can go to. She was very aggressive on Thursday, a little more finesse at times the last 2 days. Patterson passes for Moreland. Not a good set, and it hits the antenna.
That's
Timeout
tough.
Called by Kendra Potts.
That's tough because, they've been waiting for the passes to improve. And, when things are breaking down, we always talk about it doesn't matter if the passing breaks down one time and then the setting breaks down and then the attacking breaks down. You still lost 3 points.
Well, if Cal State LA wins the title, we know who the MVP is going to be. She might be the MVP regardless. Emily Elliott, 11 kills in this one. She now has 60 in 3 matches for the tournament.
Yeah, she's been phenomenal. And she's hit shots that you just almost can't believe. It was so interesting to me to see her open up with a tip. I don't think anybody in the gym expected that, including the Lady Buff defense.
She has had every head coach in this tournament trying to figure out how to stop her. First it was Wayne State, then it was UMSL. Now Kendra Potts trying to figure out how to silence number 8. I go back to what Ryan Young, the UMSL head coach, said a couple days ago after their quarterfinal win, when he knew he was going to have to play Cal State LA in the next match. In the post-match press conference, he was asked about the Golden Eagles, and he said, don't know much about them yet, don't know her name, but number 8 is a stud. And I don't think we could say it any better.
No, it's kind of unfortunate because there's a lot of other really good players on this team, and right now you got people who are serving well, they're playing defense well, but I mean, you just can't stop watching Emily Elliott.
Still has another year left, only a junior, 6'2" right side hitter from Costa Mesa in California. Trying to help the Golden Eagles notch their first ever national championship. Stowe twice on the attack. Dittman cross court to Contreras. Cami Jones, a quiet start here in the national championship. Dittman out of the reach of a diving Contreras. Buries it back line.
The Lady Buffs attempted to kind of make a small rotation move to take away the corner. She saw it, attacked area 6, middle back.
Just like the previous 2 days, the Golden Eagles getting better as the match goes on, hitting 290 here in set 2. Just 162 in set 1. Jones out of the reach of Henke. Side out, Lady Buffs.
That was a tough out for Jones, and I'm surprised she took that big a swing, but it was effective.
Ainsley Malice, junior out of Tucson, transfer from Long Island. Tight set cannon, rolled across by Dittman to Contreras. Hammered over by Becker. Shot across by Elliott. Miller attacks, too long. And that is 5 attack errors for Tori Miller.
Even right there, Ainsley Malice is taking a ball with someone else standing right there. They've got to get that communication worked out and let her set the second ball.
Miller with 5 of the 8 attack errors for West Texas A&M. Malice goes right back to Miller. Shatula block here for kill number 7.
A lot of credit right there to Emma Patterson. That was a bomb serve, and she managed it really well.
Sanders with the pass. Back row swing, shot across. Roundtree, the overpass kill. That's 4 kills for Roundtree. No errors, 5 attacks.
Yeah, at least 2 of them have been overpasses. She hasn't been that involved in the offense, so she's taking advantage of her opportunities.
Service here for Page has been really aggressive. That's her 3rd error, but 2 aces as well. And it sends Briley Contreras, the honorable mention All-American, to the service line. A native of Canyon, transfer from Division I, Stephen F. Austin. Has played for 2 high-quality programs. Roundtree buries it inside the block. So she's doing what she did in the semis. Not a lot of swings, but when she gets them, she's making the most out of them.
I think she actually hung up there so long. The block was on the way down when she actually swung at the ball.
An .833 hitting percentage for Roundtree after 455 in the semis. Miller passes for Malice. A swing for Evans, who got off to a really good start in set 1.
Yep, and that one there, too, again, created by that good pass. You know, the Lady Buffs always talk about learning as they go, and usually they're talking about the block and defense. They may have to kind of get a feel for these serves, and if they can start getting some 3-option passes, that would be huge.
Cannon for Henke. Miller right there. Evans again out of the middle. 2 straight for Carly Evans.
One of their better defensive transitions right there. They're starting to chip away a little bit. You're seeing a little bit more flow offensively.
And we know they are never out of a match. They proved that yesterday. Elliott from the back row, and she barely sneaks it in. Might have hit that back line.
And you may be wondering why Tori was so far up in the court, but that's because we've watched Elliott bury some of these balls, and I think she didn't realize she was up that far. I thought that ball was out.
Another high-efficiency match for Elliott. High efficiency for Evans. She's the go-to right now for the Lady Buffs.
I mean, that ball's still 8 feet off the net, so I think Cal State LA might be letting her go just for a fraction of a second. It's creating opportunity. They need to keep feeding Evans.
West Texas A&M trailed 18-10 in set 4 against Tampa last night and came back to win the set. Now they trail 21-14 as Henke terminates her 8th kill. "20 combined kills for Elliott and Henke. They have 20 of the 26. Miller's attack is shot out of play. That's her 8th kill. Carly Evans doing a lot right now. She has 7 kills, a couple of digs as well. Dittman off the block. They steer it towards Elliott. Cross court to the setter, Moreland. Overhead bump set Patterson. Bad angle for Miller, somehow inside the antenna though. Dittman hard off the block. Passed by Patterson. Quick set to Stowe. Shot over and out of bounds by Miller. Point to the Golden Eagles.
Good adjustment by Cal State LA. They realize now that even 8 feet off the net, the setters are still going to set the middle. They were ready this time.
Reception for Patterson. Tight to the backside for Jones, and that's a point for Cal State LA. Golden Eagles 2 points away from going up 2-0. That's the 5th air, but also 6 aces for the Golden Eagles, so I'm sure Juan Figueroa is just fine with some of these airs.
And there's no stat for the number of times they've had this serve receive completely discombobulated, so I think he's loving what they've been doing at the service line.
Henke steers it towards Cannon. Elliott off the chest of Malice. Set point, Golden Eagles.
You know, it's just unbelievable when you see really good defenders stand in there and be in the right spot, and they just cannot handle the ball, the pace on her ball.
Elliott an ace. What can't she do? Her 3rd ace here in the finals to go with 13 kills, 4 digs, and a block.
She served an ace.
Cal State LA dominant, Debbie.
She served an ace to finish the 2nd set yesterday as well.
25-16 the final in set 2. Golden Eagles will try to sweep in the national title when you come back.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
The Golden Eagles from California, Cal State LA, looking for their first ever national title, also looking for their third straight upset here in the national tournament this week. They lead 2-0 in their service pressure. Debbie has been at a high level.
It's been unreal, and that's 7 service aces. 4 of them were I think the difference in that first set, because all the stats were similar back then. But I really think that doesn't even tell the whole story. They've just created so much trouble for the offense, for the Lady Buffs. I think it's a great mentality to come out with. Tampa did it last night, caused some problems. But they've just done so many other things well. They've kept their errors down. They're in control of this match.
Golden Eagles hit 341 in set 2. That player right there, Emily Elliott, 8 kills in the set. She hit 438 in set 2. Henke right there, 4 kills in set number 2. Roundtree with 3 in the set. And they didn't just win set 2, they won set 2 25-16. An impressive performance by the Golden Eagles so far.
You didn't see that push from behind from the Lady Buffs.
So now West Texas A&M will have to go for the reverse sweep to win their second straight title. That's a good start here in the third. A kill for Cammie Jones.
I only mentioned that you didn't see that push because is it a question of whether they have it left in the tank? You know, but I guarantee you they're going to try. They never consider themselves out of the match.
Overpass kill for Stowe. 2-0 West Texas A&M. Been a quiet match for Stowe so far. Just her third kill in the first 2+ sets. Cannon. Backside for Elliott. There's a tip. You just don't know where she's going to go. She has so many different shots in that toolbox.
Well, she tips so rarely that nobody's expecting it. It's brilliant the way she sets that up.
Her kill number continues to rise. 14, a match high for Elliott. Service error for Sanders.
The one thing that Cal State LA has to keep their mentality sharp about is their own errors. They're in control, but they've got to continue to control their side of the floor. They don't want to give opportunities because to West Texas A&M through unforced errors. We know what happens when you do that.
Dittman finds Cannon, right it back to Dittman. Cross court and she buries it. Third kill for the transfer from UC Riverside. The last loss for West Texas A&M that did not happen in 5 sets was September 10th of 2022 when they were swept by UT Tyler. September of last season was their last loss that was not in 5 sets. They won their final 26 matches a year ago after that loss against UT Tyler. Look at a challenge here. Our first one over at the review monitor. All 3 losses this year for the Lady Buffs, coming in 5 sets.
We've said that a lot in this tournament.
Right. A lot of teams, yeah. Wayne State was similar too. Tampa had the same deal. So they called it in. They're challenging whether it was in or not.
From this angle, it appears there is space between the ball and the line. I'm also questioning whether Contreras touched that ball.
Yep.
And remember, while they're in the process of looking at one thing within the challenge review, if they discover something else, that's fair game.
We just saw Kendra Potts smiling and laughing with the team, trying to keep them loose, and that's very important right now. I know they've been really good at playing from behind, but this is a different level of playing from behind right here, down 2 sets to none.
And they do a great job of staying positive regardless of the circumstances. I think it starts with Kendra. But you know, last night, even in the intensity of the 4th and 5th set, the team was dancing during these challenge reviews. I think they're saving their energy today, but yeah, they definitely have a fantastic mentality on that side of the floor.
Kendra Potts, highly successful as the head coach of the Lady Buffs. 124-23. She is 14-2 in her time as head coach of the NCAA tournament. This is a longer review. Still looking over at the monitor, so still no decision. They want to make sure they get this one right. You know, it might seem early in this one, but this point is still very, very big here early on in the 3rd.
Yeah, I think that the only reason Kendra would call this one this early is if she really feels like she's going to win it. And she did.
She does. Point West Texas A&M.
Well, the one angle we had, it did appear to be out. The next question was, did Contreras touch the ball on the way out? And obviously, they did not see that.
That's a big point for the Lady Buffs. They lead 4-1 here in the 3rd, trying to stay alive here in the 3rd. Malice serves it for Dittman, who gets it back from Cannon. She's turned away. Stowe and Becker on the near antenna.
You know, another reason that challenge might have been a good idea, I mean, it worked out, but just to create, you know, this is the biggest lead just from a confidence standpoint. This might do a lot for the Lady Buffs.
Henke passes for Cannon. This is Elliott. Well, if you need to stop a run, you turn to Emily Elliott, her 15th kill.
And they just continue to go after Ainsley Malice. She's got 10 digs. That's not what you really want to see as a coach for your offense.
Aggressive serve again from Elliott. Out of system attack for Miller. And she drives it in. There are so many recent experiences from the previous week that West Texas A&M can lean on as they try to pull off a big comeback, trailing 2-0. Henke through the hands of Malice, side out for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, if ever there was a team who believes they can come back from any situation, no matter how dire it looks, it's them. We
remarked last night that both teams were in tears right when the match was done because I think the Lady Buffs were in shock more than anything. And a senior like Miller was going through tears of joy because she knew her season and her career was extended one more day.
Yeah, survived. Well, and they had, obviously, when you have 12 match points and you've held off those points, it takes a lot of emotional energy.
The defending national champs ahead by 4 in the 3rd, trailing 2-9. Back row, Elliott. That one is too long. She hasn't missed from there very often this week. Timeout, Juan Figueroa.
I don't think this is a situation yet that, Cal State LA is feeling any pressure. But, we haven't really seen them under that much pressure. When they played Wayne State on Thursday, they were the underdog. I think that, even when it went 5 and they had to come back down to 1, I think they didn't feel any pressure about it. They had nothing to lose. They were the underdog. Right now, it'll be interesting to see if West Texas A&M begins to put pressure on them in this set and within the match, how they handle that.
It's been neat to hear Juan Figueroa talk during all the press conferences leading into the tournament and also during the course of the tournament as well. They are playing with a chip on their shoulder, and he feels like they're trying to earn some respect around the country. They were unranked going into the national tournament. They're the 6th seed, trying to earn some respect and get in that discussion like West Texas A&M is, Tampa is, about some of the premier programs around the country.
I almost get the sense they like that spot. They like being a lower seed, feeling like they're a little disrespected, putting that chip on their shoulder. I think they play well in that position.
They have swept 3 of their previous 4 matches going back to the regional. They started this season 2-6, 21-4 ever since. They have won 10 of their previous 11. And they cruised by a really good UMSL team in the semis last night. Lunging handle for Sanders. Henke off the block. Sanders, the bump set to a back row Elliott. Contreras running bump set for Kelsey Carpenter, who's now in for the first time. She played a big role last night down the stretch. Right side for Becker. Good dig by Dittman. Elliott will have to free ball it into the corner for Miller. Here's Carpenter. The whiff by Evans. Contreras able to get it over. And now we get a whistle, and the point goes to the Golden Eagles. 4 touches on West Texas A&M. That was a delayed whistle, Debbie.
I think he was relying on the down official to communicate what he saw.
There was a lot of confusion as the officials initially let them play on the Cal State LA side of things. Their players almost stopped. Then we got a whistle. And Kendra Potts was looking for the explanation from the official.
And she seems satisfied with that explanation.
Backside for Becker. Stumbling handle by Cannon. Free ball from Elliott. Right back to Becker. Cuts it in.
This is truly the first point in the match where West Texas A&M looks more systematic than Cal State LA. A lot of it's they've started passing better, but right there, great tip taking Cannon out of the offense. And she's got to dig that first ball.
Speaking of sophomores, Becker, only a sophomore, so put her name in that sophomore discussion for the future with Natalie Perez and also Henke. Henke attacks, Contreras digs. Carpenter, saved by Dittman, free ball from Henke. Moreland backside for Cammie Jones, down the near line and in.
The Lady Buffs are finally getting some free ball opportunities, and they're capitalizing on them. That's exactly what they need to do to kind of pick up some speed with this offense.
Dittman falls down as she passes. Elliott crushes it in. Way too hard to handle.
She hits from the right side of the floor, which you don't see that often, and she hits that line. She absolutely threads that line shot. I've never seen anyone hit it quite like that.
Carpenter with the pass. Push by Evans. Lunging dig for Dittman, and then Henke. Perfect use of the block as she tips it into the block.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity for Cammie Jones. It was a tight set. She just really had to control the ball back into the court with her hands.
Henke, also a beach volleyball player at Cal State LA. Her doubles partner is Dittman, her indoor teammate as well. Carpenter denied, played by Elliott. Back row swing for Miller, controlled by Cheatham. Crushed in again by Elliott. An absolute hammer.
What a great location on this set. Cannon was off the net, but she just located that ball perfectly for Elliott.
Cal State LA starting to catch up within 3 on serve. Cannon with the serve. Jones, cross court to Cannon. Right back to Elliott. Too hard to handle. 18 kills for the star junior.
Teams have given Elliott line, and it's just, she brings so much heat down that line. I understand that if you take the line away, you're giving up a lot across court. But I might take my chances on trying to dig her across court and taking the line with the block. But, you know, I'm over here talking with you. I mean, we've had fantastic coaches, even going back to last weekend in the regional, coaches who have been doing this a long, long time who cannot figure out how to stop her.
Emily Elliott now has 89 kills in her previous 4 matches going back to the regionals. And she still has a ways to go in this one. She has 18 kills, as you see right there, pacing the Golden Eagles. Henke with 10. Roundtree has 5 out of the middle. That's 5 on 6 swings for Roundtree. I mean, Debbie, I'm starting to run out of words to describe Emily Elliott. This is 3 matches in 3 days and showing no signs of wearing down.
What I was just thinking was she almost seems to get better if it's possible. She gets just a little bit better when anybody presses their team. So when Wayne State was up 2-1 and really had them out of sorts, she put the team on her back at the service line and on the net and on the back row attacking. And, I mean, she played nearly flawlessly for the next set and 2 sets. And I think it's almost like when she sees that window where, hey, we're struggling a little bit, I need to take more control, she becomes better.
3 aces, 7 digs, and a block to go along with those 18 kills for Elliott. Cannon chooses Elliott again. Cross court to the center, Moreland. Carpenter looking for her first kill, dug by Cheetah. Henke tips it. And she gets a touch. Initially, the official pointed towards the Lady Buffs, and then he reversed it.
Yeah, you're going
to will use a challenge.
You're going to get a challenge on this, for sure. Well, and we've talked a lot about how the coaches rely on the players. Every player on the floor for the Lady Buffs was saying there was no touch. That's what she was looking to do, was just push the ball off the block, but I think she missed the block.
If the point holds, this is a 5-0 scoring run for Cal State LA after trailing 10-4.
I mean, from here it appears the ball might be low under the hand. Jones was in the process of turning those hands in. Did she catch the wrist there? It's too low to be fingertips.
Kendra Potts won a challenge earlier, so still has 2 remaining. Doesn't really become a factor on how many you have left until the later stages, and it became a factor last night during our 5-set match between the Lady Buffs and Tampa.
Well, when you play 236 points,
right,
you probably better be winning a lot of challenges, or you run out of your challenges way too early.
With a lot of challenges down the stretch in that 36-34 set 4.
That was nearly a 3-hour match.
It's funny, too, we were talking about the Tennessee-Texas match during the match, talking about how long that went the other night, and we had one as well.
It was one for the ages, I tell you. I mean, you really did, and I probably say this too much, but it was unfortunate that someone had to lose that match because both teams played extremely well. I don't think I've said this yet. Out of that 236 points, the actual point differential came down to 2 points. All those points played, it was that even. And it was just, it was a fun match to watch. I'm sure both coaches eventually will be able to say it was a great match to be a part of. You felt for Tampa because they played very well and they missed so many opportunities. But, that's what high-level volleyball, that's what you want to see.
We said towards the end it felt like a national championship match. It had that feel to it. This one, of course, feels like a national championship match as well, but awfully good volleyball last night. Leading us to this, looks like we have the official word. At this point, West Texas A&M, so Kendra Potts 2 for 2 on her challenges.
Yeah, I'd like to know what her winning ratio has been in this tournament. I feel like she's won a lot of her challenges.
That'll break a 4-0 run for the Golden Eagles. Looking for their 24th win. West Texas A&M looking for their 34th and a second straight title. Trying to go back-to-back for the second time in program history. Great hustle by Contreras. Just couldn't get to it near press row, and fortunately she is okay. That's dangerous right there.
Cal State LA continuing to attack the right back setter zone.
Amy Jones to the right side. It's been a quiet match for her so far. If she could heat up, that could go a long way for West Texas A&M.
She was really good in the national tournament last year. She was she quietly got 10 kills last night, but you're right. If they could get some, she might be a little fresher than some of the ones who took more swings last night. If she could get something going for them on the right, that'd be great.
Huge difference for the service line. 7 aces for Cal State LA. Meanwhile, West Texas A&M, no aces, 4 airs. Huge differential. Sanders flies it to Patterson. Steers it towards Moreland. Miller hard off the block of Elliott and Roundtree. Back row, Henke sneaks it in. Clipped it off the tape. Notches the near line. Cal State LA within 1.
Great read by Roundtree on that last block. They ran a double quick, and she didn't jump with the middle. She read that really well.
Golden Eagles a little bit high air. That is 7 service airs. A couple from Sanders into the net. Alice sends it to Henke. Bump set by Cannon. Dittman's attack isn't over, did. Backside for Elliott. She's denied. Miller and Stowe got to her.
You've gotten her a couple of times. I still think you've got to block Emily Elliott. She's so confident. You're going to have to get her a couple more times to even make her change up what she wants to do.
6 attack airs now for Elliott as Henke passes well again. We're going to go right back to Elliott. Good decision. She gets blocked once, does not get blocked twice, and terminates for her 19th kill.
And as I said, you can tell the Lady Buffs now are taking the line. That's why they got the block, but it's opened up a little more of the cross court. She got the deep corner on that
one. Towards the rafters on the pass by Patterson. Sanders controls. Henke back row. Another for Henke. 13 kills.
And we talk about how good Emily Elliott is on the back row. Henke's just as good, and this is the one rotation where they're both on the back row together. Cannon only has 2 front row attackers, but she's also got 2 back row attackers.
Henke's also been really good on serve receive. Overpass by Patterson. Handled by Henke. Back row Elliott. Roundtree on the overpass, and she's stuffed by Stowe.
Really heads up play by Stowe, just getting turned around, finding the ball quick, and getting in front of Roundtree. She made that look a lot easier than it is.
Free ball from Becker. Sanders, a poor pass. Stowe will attack. Stowe drops it in, and she'll laugh it off. Not her best swing, but an efficient swing for Stowe. Out by inches. Kendra Potts might be thinking about a challenge.
No,
here.
the R1 overruled. And now it's being challenged by Cal State LA.
The line judge had it happen, inches in front of him. And the up official overrules, and now they'll review. So Juan Figueroa will challenge.
Sometimes when you're the line judge on that corner, you're almost too close to it. And the R1 has the same really great look at that. When he overruled it, I wasn't surprised.
That's in.
So it's just kind of an odd angle because he's only evaluating the sideline.
Yep.
Actually, he's evaluating the baseline.
That looks in by a pretty good amount. It touches the white line, it's in.
Yeah. I think this is a good overrule by the R1, and I don't see any reason for Juan Figueroa to not challenge this. And we're getting into the late teens, or approaching the late teens. He doesn't want the separation to get any greater.
National championship match from Moon Township, Pennsylvania. Adam Young alongside Debbie Hendricks, the national champion head coach. Great to have you with us. Our 7th and our final match of the week. 4 seed versus the 6 seed here in the final. West Region champs versus the South Central Region champs. And the point goes to West Texas A&M. First ace for the Lady Buffs, 7 for the Golden Eagles. Rare mistake on serve receive for Henke. Bump set Carpenter. Becker's attack is too deep. Side out for the Golden Eagles. Brooke Page has had success for the service line with a couple of aces. 23 now this year for the sophomore, but that's also her 4th service error. And it's really been all or nothing for her. All errors have come in the net, I believe. At least 3 of them.
Well, and after the last one, Juan Figueroa said to her, hey, come on, let's go. he understands that they're shooting themselves in the foot a little bit right now.
Good pass by Dittman. Henke, a 2-handed push. Elliott rolls it out of the back row. Evitz. Elliott can't dig. Carly Evitz with her 8th kill.
I think Elliott stayed down and roll shot at that ball because she wasn't sure if she was going to be on the 10-foot line or not. That was really heads up, but it gave the Buffs an opportunity.
Timeout Juan Figueroa as West Texas A&M tries to pull away here in set 3. Well, I'm sure if you're Cal State LA, you knew this wouldn't be easy, right? I mean, you knew this wouldn't be an easy sweep here in the national championship match.
I guarantee you there was a conversation about the fact that if we have the opportunity, we need to shut the door. Tampa didn't quite shut the door last night, and we're going to shut the door.
West Texas A&M trying to defend their title. Trying to win back-to-back titles for the 2nd time in program history, but Debbie, you brought this up earlier. If Kendra Potts wins the title, she would be the first West Texas A&M head coach to win 2 in a row because it was 2 different head coaches in 90 and 91.
That's right. It was Kim Hudson in 1991. It was in 1990, it was Jim Giacomazzi in 1991. So, yeah, there have been 4 different coaches.
Probably means a little more, too, for Kendra Potts, who played for the Lady Buffs, 3-time All-American setter. last year's Division II National Coach of the Year. We mentioned this in the quarterfinals, and we'll bring it up again because some folks probably tune in and out. And you talked during the quarterfinal match when they played Clarion about having to coach against the player, Kendra Potts, back in the day when she was a 3-time All-American. And that wasn't fun from your seat, was it?
No, it wasn't. I was at Metro State at the time, and I knew when she came into the program they were getting a keeper. I knew what she was capable of. We, at the same time, had a really nice setter, Devin Herron, out of Spokane, Washington. Those two went toe-to-toe for 4 years against each other and put up huge numbers.
Roundtree the kill. Side out for Cal State LA. She's been highly productive.
Yeah, I think that was a great use of her there, too. I don't think the Lady Buffs really expected her to get that ball.
The only error Roundtree has here tonight was on an overpass. She has 6 kills on 8 swings, 6 1/4 hitting percentage. Here's Cheatham. Serves it to Carpenter. Becker. I'll tell you what, she's had some tough angles and she continues to keep it in play.
And the Lady Buffs are absolutely doing a better job with that first ball contact. It's creating better scenarios for these attackers.
9 kills for Becker. She's hitting .318, hitting .300 for the year. Slide play to Grubbs. Timing wasn't there. She has to free ball it. Moreland setting up Carpenter. Still looking for that first kill for her. Jones looking for a touch. Look at a net violation called on Cal State LA.
She's grinning ear to ear because she knows she got bailed out on that one.
Moreland with the serve. Played by Henke. Elliott flies in out of the back row. Side out, Golden Eagles. 20 again for Elliott.
You know, you want to lead Elliott, but she almost let her too much on that one. She adjusted and didn't take much off that ball.
Eliza Cannon will serve. She's had a good week from the center position. In the middle for Evans. Down on one knee, Elliott. Plays it to Cannon. Henke pushes it into the block. They'll try Henke again, this time to the fingertips of Moreland.
And the difference in those two opportunities, Cannon set Henke a little tight on the first one, but she played the ball up off the block. Second one, she was off the net. She could attack high on the block.
Cannon to Carpenter, not a good pass. Moreland in the net. With serve receive struggles in set one that set back West Texas A&M. It spilled over into set two early on. Trying to pull out the third. Miller passes for Moreland. A tip by Evans, met by Henke. Backside Elliott. Golden Eagles within 2, 21-19.
Nice set by Cannon. She's, you know, we talk about the attackers so much. Cannon runs this offense, and she does a fantastic job. You know, using the back row as much as she does is not as easy as she makes it look.
Tallest setter in the tournament, too, at 6 feet tall, and Jones will tool the block to side out for the Lady Buffs.
Well, she was in on 4 blocks yesterday for the Golden Eagles, so, you know, not only is she an offensive threat in the 3 rotations when she's up front, she hasn't dumped today, but she can be an offensive threat, and she's a good blocker.
This is Emma Patterson, junior out of Amarillo in the Canyon area. Henke off balance, dug out by Moreland. Overhead pump set to Miller. We haven't called her name much the previous 2 sets. Henke blocked away by Evans and Jones. Elliott off speed, cross court, and a net violation is called on West Texas A&M. Trying to get too tight on the Elliott attack. This is a big point coming up. If Cal State LA can notch the point here, they're within 1. Set 3 win gives the Golden Eagles a national title. Dig for Cannon, bump set Elliott. Dittman looking for a touch, and she won't get it.
Dittman's having a rough night. She's hitting negative before that swing. She had such a good match yesterday.
And Juan Figueroa would challenge this, but he's down to 1, and he chooses not to. He thought maybe there was a touch.
I think he'd lose that challenge.
Overpass kill for Stowe. Set point for West Texas A&M. Harley Evans. Dittman sends it to Cannon. Elliott the tip. Overdig for Patterson. Overpass kill for Dittman. Cal State LA trying to do to West Texas A&M what the Lady Bucks did to Tampa in set 4 yesterday. It was 24-20. Now it's 24-21. An ace for Sanders.
She struggled this set with her serving, but I tell you that one, the bottom just dropped out of it.
And now Kendra Potts will use her final timeout. Well, we know it can be done. We saw this in set 4 last night when West Texas A&M trailed Tampa 24-20. Ended up going to extra points, eventually won that set 36-34. And here's a second look at the Sanders serve.
And this is part of why Jamison Sanders had so many serves in the net. This ball, it's got to peak and drop at the right time, and it was dropping too early when she was hitting the net. That's just an amazing serve.
Another highly productive match for the service line for Cal State LA. They've been really good from the line all week. And it's 8 aces now after the ace for Sanders.
It was a good time for her to find the groove because she's really had a rough set.
First ever appearance in the national championship for this program from Los Angeles. Meanwhile, for the Lady Bucks from Canyon, their 6th appearance in the national championship. They are 4-1 all-time in this match. 4 national titles, 1 runner-up finish. Trying to go back-to-back. Two aces, 4 airs for Sanders. We'll see what we get right here. And it's an air, her 5th air. So high risk, high reward on the serving for Sanders, and West Texas A&M stays alive for at least 1 more set. 25-22 the final in the 3rd. We'll go to the 4th in the national championship match.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do. Be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
The national championship match from the UPMC Event Center in Moon Township, Pennsylvania. Glad you're with us. Adam Young alongside the national champion head coach Debbie Hendricks. West Texas A&M trying to go back-to-back and keep the trophy in Canyon, Texas, while the Golden Eagles are looking for their first ever national championship win. And in that third set, Debbie, the hitting percentage went up, and the side-out percentage went up as well for the Lady Buffs.
Yeah, they were at 60%, which I think is about where they'd like to be, somewhere between 60 and 70%. You know, they've had sets within this tournament where they've been as high as 72, 80%. But, you know, I think right now if they can just start to get that rhythm in their serve-receive, it's going to make a big difference in the overall match. First ball contact was much improved in that third set.
In that third set for the Golden Eagles, 4 service errors, including the final point on the Sanders service error. Only 1 ace. So 7 aces in the first 2 sets, only 1 in the third for Cal State LA. They still don't have a block. And their block was as good as it's been all year. And yesterday's semifinal win when they had 14 of them in 3 sets. Still no blocks for for Cal State LA in that third set after 4 in the first 2. Sanders passes. Henke attacks. Dug out by Moreland. Contreras, overhead bump set to Miller. Tumbling handle for Sanders. Saved by Contreras. Elliott denied. Miller and Evitz.
That's the look of the defense when they've started to figure things out. They had a dig, an in-system dig. They were able to transition out of that, made another defensive play, and then the block stopped.
Block number 6 for West Texas A&M. Henke off the head of Moreland. Best swing we've seen from her all tournament.
Lady Buffs are still giving a little bit of line out there to Henke. I would take that line away.
Henke back to serve. Sends it to Patterson. Evitz out of the middle. Outside for Dittman. Controlled by Patterson. Miller found the seam. Cal State LA, though, 3 balls it across. They kept it alive. Miller again. Mid-air push. Elliott for the right antenna off the block. Net violation on West Texas A&M and Carly Evitz.
You're just still starting to see the Lady Buffs get some slows. They're tagging balls. They're doing something with them. That's a sign of their defense really starting to get on track, and that usually brings the offense with it.
Service there for Henke. A rare one for her. She is almost 2-to-1 with her service ace to service air ratio. Only her 35th air all year.
Well, the Lady Buffs are starting to pass better, so it may be that Cal State LA is trying to pick up the intensity again and going for too much.
Elliott cross court for her 24th kill. Debbie, she might get to 30 again.
She might. And she's hitting .354. That's what always impresses me, is a lot of times she has to take the out-of-system junk balls, and she still has such a high hitting efficiency.
Elliott with 30 kills in the quarterfinals to tie her career high, a new season high. Tip kill for Jones to side out for West Texas A&M.
Those corners are still open. Good job there by Cammie Jones. It doesn't take much pace. You just got to push it deep enough.
Not a play for Malice. Service error for West Texas A&M. Their 5th, only 1 ace. Elliott an ace. Her 4th.
She's just splitting the space between Patterson and Miller. But it has so much pace, there's no time to make a decision. Somebody's going to have that scene.
Overpass goes to Elliott from Miller. Roundtree out of the middle. Met near line by Contreras. Free ball from Becker. Henke, Cannon. Dittman off the block. Contreras can't get to it. Dittman the kill. Timeout, West Texas A&M. Golden Eagles by 3 early on in the fourth, trying to win the title.
They're starting to, they made an error starting to serve a little tougher, but they are trying to disrupt this serve-receive again. Even if the Lady Buffs bring the ball back, they're getting these great opportunities, and they're doing a lot with them. That defensive transition is so much easier when you've gotten your opponent out of system and serve-receive.
Debbie, going back to Thursday when Cal State LA picked off Wayne State in 5 sets, even when they had some struggles, the stretches of struggles were very brief. They bounced back nicely, quickly, where it didn't extend for a long period of time.
Yeah, they're very good at controlling runs, and, when teams push, they push back harder, and that's what we're seeing right now.
24 kills for Elliott. Henke not far behind with 15. This is a 6 seed trying to win the title. Unranked entering the tournament. 10 losses this year. Trying to win their first ever national championship. It's been a magical run for Juan Figueroa's squad. They got to the semis a year ago. Could not get to this match. They overcame a lot early on in the year, and now they're playing their absolute best here in early December. Cannon, the dump play. Perfect time for that. The first one tonight for Cannon.
Yeah, it's been a long time. She waited so long to do it. I think she caught the Lady Buffs off guard, but I've said this all tournament. She's dumping with her right hand on tight balls. They've got to block that. They are not going to defend that back row.
You can live with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she's earned a few already.
I think so. I think she's earned a few service errors, a few attack errors. She'll probably take the rest of the match off, and that would be okay.
But there was a collective sigh on the West Texas side when she missed that serve.
Bump set to Elliott from the back row. 25th kill.
I said it earlier in the match. When teams push and Cal State LA pushes back harder, it's usually off the hand of Elliott.
She's approaching 80 kills for the week. 74 officially here in this tournament for Elliott. Back row for Miller. Elliott gets it right back. Sends it too long. Right there, but still hitting well over 300.
She's been a little higher error in this match on the out-of-system swings. She's been money in system.
Briley Contreras to Dittman. Henke uses the block. 16 kills for the sophomore out of Germany.
That wasn't a very aggressive serve by Contreras. If the Lady Buffs are going to win this match, they've got to stay tough at the service line.
Overpass for Miller. First kill for Grubbs in the match. Senior out of Newhall, California, her 5th year in the program. Cheatin with the serve. Sends it to Miller. And it's out of the middle, off the block and down. Not much on it, just enough for Evitz to scoot it in for kill number 9. Four players with 9 kills now for West Texas A&M.
That's their trademark, that balance. Kendra Potts calls it their superpower.
Henke answers for her 17th. Yeah, you look at West Texas A&M, their kill leader for the year is Miller, 3 kills per set. But you look at the Golden Eagles and you have Elliott, almost 5 kills per set, 4.7 for the year.
Well, on most teams you would say, we'll really focus on her and we ought to be able to slow her down. But every team that's come in here with the intent of trying to slow Elliott down has failed.
Patterson back to serve for West Texas A&M. Henke out of system. Contreras got her hands on it, then converged with Patterson. And Henke racks up her 18th kill. Golden Eagles trying to pull away here in the fourth. They won the first 2 sets here tonight. Tough pass for Contreras. Cannon digs. Elliott, good approach. Listed wide right though. So that's 9 airs now for Elliott.
That's the most we've seen in this tournament. Credit the Lady Buffs. She is looking at a very big block.
Looking at a big block, and you have to think at some point she would wear it down a little bit. And this is 3 matches in 3 days with a heavy workload. She's in on the double stuff alongside middle blocker Shelby Grubbs.
Well, they're taking her line, and if she doesn't have a set that allows her to hit the angle, I'm still talking about Elliott. I think that what she's got to start to do is look to attack the block more. High hands, tool shots. That's not usually, she doesn't spend a lot of time with those shots.
Sanders keeps this one in play. Contreras bump set leading into Miller. Hits the Jumbotron. They'll continue on. Free ball from Cannon. Backside for Jones. Lunging dig Henke. She's doing it all here tonight. Dittman misses the near line.
Dittman's having a rough night, but I tell you what, credit Cal State LA. The Lady Buffs are having such a hard time finding openings in this defense. Block is taking an area. The defense in the back line is working really well around that.
Elliott back on track. 26th kill. Hasn't been as efficient here tonight as she had been in the previous 2 matches this week. Overpass Patterson, met by Elliott. Dittman drops this one in. Her 5th kill.
You know what I appreciated by Elliott? You know, she's jump setting that ball, but she hustled to get in to be able to pick up the overpass or the ball over. And I mean, you know, she's recognizing I'm going to create a problem. I got to make sure I cover my spot in case that comes to me.
We've said this numerous times this week, but you watch her play and she is way more than just how many kills she has. She does a lot of things well all across the floor for Lon Figueroa. And that's been on full display again. 9 digs, she has 4 aces, a couple of blocks, and of course the kills will show those. She has 26 of them on 327.
She's got a great volleyball IQ too. You know, she knows what she's setting up. She'll take line for a while, and then you're going to take line away from her, and she'll hit cross court. And I mean, that's what attackers should do, but she does it so proficiently. Sure, I think when she came out and tipped the first ball of the game, she knew everybody in the gym expected her to swing, and she's just really a smart attacker.
You saw her play last year on the national stage, and it wasn't 3 matches, it was only 2. The numbers were not what they've been this year, but did you have a good takeaway from her last year, and where do you feel like she's improved the most from last year to this year?
That's a great question. She was so good the first day, and the next day she was flat, the team was flat, and she didn't have the ability at that point to put the team on her back and carry them. She's been much more mature about that at this tournament, really steady, and her team has been as well.
Big moment here for West Texas A&M on serve receive. Controlled this time by Patterson. Becker. Over dig, swing for Miller. Diving bump set for Cannon. Leads to the kill for Dittman. What a set by Cannon.
Great set by Cannon. And And Dittman making this play. She's just now, I think, going to get above 0 for her hitting percentage. That's a gutsy swing right there.
2 straight kills for Dittman. 33 attacks, only 6 kills so far with 6 attack errors. One-handed dig for Henke. Malice sets up Miller, rolls it cross court. Sanders got to it. Slap by Henke. Back row out of system kill for her 19th. Serve for Elliott. It's an ace. Her 5th in the match.
That's just incredible. There is so much pace on this ball.
17 aces in the previous 4 for Elliott. And there's another. And now Debbie, she can just wind up and let it fly with no pressure.
And her consistency has just been unbelievable in this match and yesterday.
Cannon, back row for Henke. She buries it.
We're getting a challenge.
We're going to challenge from Kendra Potts. I think this may be strategic more than anything. She does not have a timeout left.
Well, her assistant jumped up and he was demonstrating something that he saw to her. I could not understand what he was saying, but I think she might be twofold, following his lead on that and then also using this as an opportunity to settle her team down.
They're challenging an illegal attack on Henke, who was right around that 10-foot line. So they're going to check to see if she passed that 10-foot line and stayed in the back row. To the naked eye, it was awfully close. Either way, Kendra Potts can use it as a timeout here.
Oh, yeah, she's
so
behind.
Henke was behind that 10-foot line. But it's twofold. You want to challenge that, and you also want to slow down Elliott in any way possible for the service line.
Yeah, and settle your team down because, it really is an unnerving when she's serving that many balls with that kind of pace at you. You got to get your composure and serve receive.
Kendra Potts loses the challenge. She has 1 remaining. Juan Figueroa has 1 left as well. It is all Golden Eagles here in the 4th. They won the first 2 sets. 1 set, 1 by 2. 1 set, 2 by 9. West Texas A&M stayed alive in the 3rd, winning by 3. Big swing here for Miller. Cross court to Sanders. Dittman, controlled by Patterson. Becker hammers it. Elliott controls. Contreras steers it towards Miller off the shoulder of Emily Elliott.
That almost looked like the type of ball Emily Elliott hits at people.
Right?
She laughed it off. I think she served 8 or 9 straight there. She's okay.
Season high in aces for Elliott, by the way, is 8. She is 2 shy of that. She has 6. Approaching triple-double territory with 11 digs and 26 kills. Tori Miller in her 148th and final career match. Sends it to Henke. Elliott for the back row and in. How about 27 kills?
It's just machine-like. It's like Cannon has a 3rd front row attacker when she's in those 5-1 rotations.
An ace for Brooke Page, her 3rd in the match. Big fist pump from Juan Figueroa, the 7th-year head coach. The 12th ace for the Golden Eagles. Backside to Becker. Uses the block, side out, Lady Buffs. Much needed. Dittman with the pass. They're going to go back to Elliott. This time too long, no touch. (22-11), Cal State LA. Trying to hang on here in the fourth and win the title. Their first ever. Contreras with the serve. Cannon for Henke. Becker off the block. 11 kills for Becker. She's had a good night.
She has, and there just hasn't been enough complimentary good night by enough players. This team runs on balanced offense.
Miller from the back row, right to Elliott. Henke the push. Miller can't get to it.
You know, we've talked a lot about the performance of Emily Elliott, a few of the other players, but really I think a big part of why they've been successful, they came in with a brilliant game plan, and they've executed it in a big way.
Looking for their third consecutive upset here at the national tournament. First it was 3-seed Wayne State, then it was 2-seed UMSL. Trying to take down the defending champs. Point goes to West Texas A&M. Net violation on the Golden Eagles. Serve from Moreland is way too long. Match point for Cal State LA here in the national championship. Eliza Cannon, the senior out of Santa Ana, will serve for the Golden Eagles. Serves it to Miller. Out of the middle is Jones. Cannon the bump set. Henke from the back row. Controlled by Miller. Carpenter. Out of bounds. The magical run concludes with hardware. For the first time ever, the Golden Eagles are national champions. What an unbelievable run for Juan Figueroa and the Cal State LA Golden Eagles.
Very well deserved. I mean, from the day they put the first ball in play on Thursday to this last point, they have executed at such a high level. They've been consistent. They've come in with great game plan. We talk about Emily Elliott so much, but they've just done everything well.
Saw tears from Elliott, tears from Juan Figueroa. She's been so composed and dialed in and locked in all week. We get to see some emotion following the program's first ever national title. Well, I'm sure a lot of folks looked at the record when they were coming in here. They were 21-10 coming in. They were unranked in the national poll. They're going to finish the season 24-10, but they're going to finish the season with the national title.
Well, it's all about the journey, Adam, and to be honest with you, I said this yesterday, I really do wonder if all that struggle, you were in the Final Four team, one of the Final Four teams last year, and then maybe they made some assumptions about things when they started the preseason. I know they scheduled tough, but maybe they had to figure out, hey, people aren't going to roll over and just lay down for us. We're going to have to get back together and work hard and build from there, and he talks about that journey, and that may have made them so strong and have so much resolve at this point in the season.
It's Emily Elliott who puts the Cal State LA name in the national championship spot. And Debbie, we talked about her all week, deservedly so. But man, oh man, in this national championship match, a lot of players stepped up. Henke finished with 21 kills. Dittman was really good down the stretch. Roundtree had some good early moments, and From the service line, 12 aces, and it was all over the place, including Brooke Page, who finished with 3 aces.
It took all of it. You know, I mean, we've seen teams that have a player who carries such a heavy load like Elliott, but they don't go as far unless they have the supporting cast and they're well coached and they put all the pieces together. And that's what happened this weekend. Cal State LA put it all together for 3 matches. That's who wins the national championship.
We thought coming in there could be a lot of parity this week. We had a 4-6 matchup in the championship match. A 6 seed wins the national title. How good is this for Division II volleyball in general when there's so many good programs? It's a little bit unpredictable now here at the national tournament.
It's great. I mean, you know, we had quite a few people saying this was going to be the strongest field we've had at this tournament, and I think that's been proven to be true.
The second runner-up finish for West Texas A&M. They go to 4-2 now in national championship matches, and they're going to be the runner-up, Debbie, but they're going to be talking about that semifinal match in Canyon for years to come. The fact that they even got to this point with where they were in set 4 at one juncture yesterday, pretty unbelievable.
It's unbelievable that they were here, and, you know, I don't think they were their freshest. They have to be absolutely exhausted. They still found a way to fight and scrap and get that third set. So a lot of credit to the way they came in here with a very short turnaround and competed. There were times where I saw things happen that I would contribute to fatigue, but I think you have to give the majority, and I think they will. I think they will say that is just too good a Cal State LA team.
You look at the final scores in this match, too. I mean, go back to set 2. Cal State LA wins by 9. They win by 11 in set 4. Nobody's done this to West Texas A&M. That shows you the level that the Golden Eagles were playing at here this week down the stretch.
And if you did push and you gained a little, other teams, you know, including Tampa last night, they kind of shot themselves in the foot at times. This team did not.
It's the first loss for West Texas A&M that did not come in 5 sets since September 10th of 2022. So that was early on a year ago when they were swept by UT Tyler. They won their final 26 matches. After that, a year ago, they're going to finish this year winning 23 of their final 25, but falling just short here in the national championship match. You know, you feel for the teams that lose during the course of the week, and if you're a West Texas A&M fan, there's only 2 programs that get a chance to play on the final day. And you have to think about that. I know you don't think about that right now, but at some point it's going to sink in that this was another phenomenal season for West Texas A&M, and there's nothing to be down about after what they did this year.
No, they did some incredible things. One of the most incredible was last night, but you have to get away from it for a minute. You can't feel that right now. All you feel is disappointment. But boy, I tell you, it's good for volleyball to continue to see new teams in the mix, and you got Cal State LA here winning their first. We've had that happen with a couple of teams wheeling Jesuit a few years ago. The more parity we get, the better the sport will be.
Future is bright for both programs. Heck, the Golden Eagles will get Elliott back next year. Juan Figueroa will also get Roundtree back, Henke back. He's going to lose some key pieces. He's going to lose his setter, Eliza Cannon.
She was so good.
Dittman had a great week. She finishes with 29 kills in the 3 matches in the tournament. But the 2 key cogs, Henke and Elliott, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better 1-2 punch around the country going into next year.
Well, it will be critical who is going to be taking Eliza Cannon's job, because she sets the ball so well. She gives such a great back row and front row ball to Elliott. You know, that's going to be a key piece for Elliott continuing to put this kind of production together.
They're going to announce the all-tournament team before the trophy presentation. Debbie, who do you think the MVP is going to be? That's a big discussion right now,
I don't know.
isn't it? My goodness. I mean, we thought maybe, Emily Elliott potentially could have got it, win or lose. She was that remarkable during the course of the week for the Golden Eagles, and she, of course, will be the MVP. There were a lot of really good performances during the course of the week. We got to see a lot of great individual play, good team play. A lot of upsets, and upset after upset for this Golden Eagles squad. Tatum Stowe, part of the all-tournament team for West Texas A&M. She had 5 kills, 364 hitting percentage in this match. Also had 5 blocks. Henke on the all-tournament team, no-brainer. She was at her best here tonight, wasn't she?
She really was. I think in each match of the weekend, she just got a little bit better, with tonight being her best performance.
Henke, only a sophomore, 21 kills, only 2 attack airs tonight, 380 hitting clip. Maybe more importantly, 18 digs. Carly Evans, part of the all-tournament team, her final collegiate match. Debbie, she came back to Canyon. She was at 2 schools previously, came back to her hometown school, and really went out on a high note individually. 9 kills in this one for Evans. Also had a couple of digs. Haley Roundtree on the all-tournament team for the Golden Eagles. 6 kills in this match, 455 hitting percentage for the second straight day. Speaking of sophomores, Emma Becker on the all-tournament team. 11 kills, 346 hitting percentage for her tonight. Eliza Cannon getting the respect she deserves after a great week.
Setters sometimes get lost, you know, but who made all this go?
Yep.
Eliza Cannon. Well-deserved right here.
Her final match collegiately, and she goes out a winner. Senior out of Santa Ana, California. Tori Miller, a no-brainer selection. What a marvelous career, Debbie, that she put together.
You know, and we talk about the numbers and the things that are physical, but it's the heart and soul, the grit. Last night, she really willed her team through that match.
And the MVP, Emily Elliott. 27 kills. She finishes with 76 in 3 matches in the tournament.
There were 2 things this weekend that I don't think I've ever seen before. One of them was that match last night, and one of them was the 3-night performance by Emily Elliott. It was just extraordinary.
She kicked off the tournament. Cal State LA played the first match of the tournament on Thursday, and she recorded 30 kills as we look at the full all-tournament team. So Caitlin Bishop and Lexi Rank from Upsall, Natalie Perez, JJ Ramirez from Tampa, Stowe, Evans, Becker, and Miller from West Texas A&M, Roundtree, Henke, Cannon, and the most outstanding player, Elliott, from Cal State LA. Now we'll have the trophy presentation. And they're going to start with West Texas A&M. We talked about Elliott and Henke coming back next year for Cal State LA. Some key pieces lost for the Lady Buffs, with Miller graduating, Carly Evans graduating, but so much more coming back as well for Kendra Potts, the head coach.
They're still a relatively young team to have so much experience at this point.
Season finishes for the Lady Buffs at 33-4. The first non-5-cent loss the entire year comes here in the national championship match as Cal State LA wins this one in 4 sets. Debbie, I know you won it in 1997, but I'm sure there were moments during your head coaching career where you took some tough losses. What would the message be going forward from Kendra Potts, even though you had such a good year, but it stops abruptly here in the match that you wanted so badly?
They'll come back hungry, because they do feel like we didn't accomplish our ultimate goal. They'll come back hungry, but I tell you what, my compliments to them. They carried a big target all season long. When you're the defending national champion, the target is big. It's really easy for your team to get caught up in who's being acknowledged and things like that. And they really were a strong unit this year. They did a lot of great things together. Won some unbelievable matches. So I hope they'll be able to reflect on this well, but I mean, they'll come back hungry next year.
You mentioned that target on their back. They might have been the 4th seed this week, but they were also the preseason #1 team in the country. They were the defending champs, and some teams would struggle with that, and they handled it very well the entire year.
It's heavy, and I think the reason they handled it that well starts with their head coach, Kendra Potts.
And now Cal State LA will get their trophies individually. And this will go down as one of the better runs in the national tournament ever. Coming in as the 6th seed, beat an outstanding Wayne State team on Thursday. Cruised by a really high-level UMSL team on Friday. And then did what nobody's done since early on a year ago, and they defeated West Texas A&M in 4 sets in impressive fashion here in the championship. And even going back to Thursday, Debbie, we said on Friday, we said, well, how much will the Golden Eagles have left after such an exhausting 5-set win against Wayne State? They look just fine on Friday and Saturday after that. They
are a well-conditioned team because they look just as fresh and just as sharp, and that's rare in the national championship game. That they look just as crisp today as they did on Thursday. So hats off to whoever's been conditioning this team and preparing them to play 2 weekends, back-to-back weekends of 3-set days.
And they proved it's a journey. They started this season 2-6. They really struggled out of the gate. They're going to finish their season winning 22 of their final 26 matches, including their first ever national championship. And I think that respect that Juan Figueroa was talking about, I think it's going to come now. I think folks around the country will be talking about the Golden Eagles as one of the better programs around the country, especially with Elliott coming back and Hemke coming back for next year.
Yeah, he may be yearning for the days where he felt the disrespect and could use that to get that little chip on the shoulder.
And now the motivation's going to have to be different from Juan Figueroa. And that's what makes really good head coaches is when you start winning like this, when you go to the semis a year ago and then win the national title this year, the target might be on their back going into the next year, and you can't play as the underdog anymore. But just watching Juan Figueroa, how he interacts with the players, his press conferences, how he talks, he seems like a really high-level motivator, and the players respond to him at a high level as he goes out there and gets his trophy.
Well, and he's been very humble and gracious in his press conferences about how his team has played, about everything that's been going on here, the way the tournament's been run.
California State University, Los Angeles, their first ever national championship and their first ever trip to the national championship match. They'll take some hardware back to LA. Saw on social media a couple days ago, their school president was actually here supporting the program in Moon Township, so cool stuff from their program. Speaking of this venue and Robert Morris University, this was an outstanding week, Debbie. Really good hosts. Everything went very smooth from the committee's perspective as well. This was a whole lot of fun.
People have no idea. I've served on the national committee several years. They have no idea how hard they work. They get here either Monday night or Tuesday. They work all week, and of course they do all the work during the course of the year with the rankings, the regional rankings, and then the re-ranking for nationals. But they run this tournament once it starts, and there's a lot of attention to detail needed. They work long, long days. So credit, this tournament went very well. Hats off to the national committee.
The week started with 8 teams. We finished with 1 on top as California State University Los Angeles rolls through Wayne State, UMSL, and now West Texas A&M upsets all the way through. And our 7th and our final match is in the books as the Golden Eagles claim the program's first ever national championship. Debbie, thanks so much. A whole lot of fun this week.
It was great, and the volleyball was just through the roof.
High-level stuff. Golden Eagles win the title. West Texas A&M falls up just short, looking to go back-to-back. Big thanks to our entire crew this week. Our producer, Braden Pretch. My partner, Debbie Hendricks. Adam Young saying so long from Moon Township, Pennsylvania, as the Golden Eagles win the national title at Division II. Adam Young saying so long from the UPMC Event Center.